and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game today.
Hey everybody, it's me, Rick Acosta, the Dodger Card Collector, coming to you with another video. Today is Saturday, March 8th, and I hope you're having a good Saturday. It's Saturday at a little after 5 o'clock, as I say this, Pacific time, getting ready to spend the evening to watching the Lakers and the Celtics on ABC. So looking forward to that. Obviously, we're in spring training right now. I think the Dodgers are playing in Japan in about 10 days against the Cubs. So we're getting close to some action here. Let's do some hobby talk, just because it seems like I'm looking at my notes. I've got a lot of things to talk about that's coming up for those of you, especially in the Southern California area. We are now in the middle of some shows coming up. A week from today, March 15th, the Regional is going to have a show at the Embassy Suites in Arcadia, California. That's near my hometown, so I will probably attend. I don't know what it's like vintage-wise. I don't expect much, but we shall see. The week after, on March 22nd, the LA Card Expo at the Marriott Warner Center in Woodland Hills, California. That's going to be 125 tables. I know my friend Mitch is going to be out there, so there'll be some vintage. So it might be worth checking out. So those two shows I have no experience with, so I can't endorse them. But if you're in the area and you want to check out some cards, go ahead. I'm sure there'll be lots of Pokemon. I'm sure there'll be lots of modern. Hopefully there'll be some vintage hanging out there too. Then the following weekend, March 29th and March 30th, the Front Row Card Show, Pasadena Civic Center, Pasadena, California. I think I'm hearing it's 250 tables. Usual cast of characters will be there. Some of those guys I know. There'll be some decent vintage there, and I've made some good pickups there. So definitely a show worth hanging out for. Be forewarned, if you have VIP seats or you get there at 10 o'clock, there is a massively long line to get in. So if I do plan on attending, I might be one of those guys that shows up at noon. We shall see. And then I just found out on April 5th, the Regional is going to be in Garden Grove, California, at the Garden Grove Delta Hotel, which is just south of Disneyland. I went to that show once. I saw Mitch again, and I saw a couple of other vintage sellers. Might be worth checking out. I know that's a free show, free parking. So if you got nothing going on and you don't live too far, those are some of the shows coming to Southern California in the next month. The Front Row Card Show is going to be is going to be the big one of those. None of these shows are like the Burbank show in Ontario or in Anaheim. They're smaller level shows, regional shows. But like I say, if you're in the area or you want to drive to 10 miles, check out some cards, it's definitely worth it. I plan on attending a couple of shows, not all of them. So today I wanted to talk to you about, I brought up a little bit about it last week. I've been kind of in a revenge mode lately since the Burbank show. And I don't know if this has happened to some of you where you have big expectations going into a show. And I have expectations. I might not be buying a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle, but I still have expectations. And it's been a few weeks since the Burbank show happened. And don't get me wrong, I had a good time. There were lots of cards to look at. I did do some pickups. I got to hang out with my friends. That was all perfect. But I did come home, looking back on it, I did come home disappointed. I had a goal of working on my 1950 Bowman set, my 1961 Topps High Number set, and I was hoping to see if there were any more El Meets Dodger cards floating around from 1959, 1960, or 1961. Not necessarily the case, but I still had expectations. At the time of the show, I needed a little bit more. I think I needed like 24 cards to finish the 50 Bowman set. I actually set high expectations of trying to come home with 10 to 15 cards from that set. 1961 Topps, at the time I needed like 16 cards. I came home, or I went there with expectations of knocking that number in half, down to 8. So I was really hoping to come home Yeah, with around 20 nice cards to put a nice dent into my sets. Yeah, and maybe as a bonus, picking up some nice big card like a Morel meets Sandy Koufax card. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. The irony of the whole thing is it was this massively big show with, I believe, sellers from all over the country, and the two guys I bought from are guys that I buy from all the time. LA Collection Levon and my friend Mitch. Those are I bought cards from local guys who I could text right now and ask them a question if they have these cards available. And with all those other sellers out there from all over the country, I made deals only with two local dealers. Now you can't say that's my fault, Rick. That's on you. Yeah, it is partly on me, but at the same time, it's like I have to depend on my regular guys to offer me cards as opposed to guys who bring their big cards from all over the country and they're asking an arm and a leg for them. So with that mentality, I've kind of been on a revenge mode because I feel I didn't do well in Burbank. So the advantage of going to a show and striking out, so to speak, or hitting a foul ball, is that I got some pitches thrown my way and I got to see what the card prices were. That works. So if I went to the show saying, I want to see if I can get a bunch of 1961 Topps cards. Well, I saw their prices. They were between $30 and $50. Now I know, and $30 or $50 would be an excellent. Somebody who's excellent to mint or near mint might be asking for 80. So I at least got to see like the comps, or I got to look at the sticker price going to these shows on both of those sets. So when I came home, and about 10 days ago, I spent an evening on eBay and on the batter's box and on a couple of other stores, and I said, let's look at cards lower than the price ranges you just saw at the Burbank show. And the budget that I did take to Burbank, I only spent a little of it. The rest I put back in the bank. It wasn't like I sat there and bought everybody drinks or went out to dinner. No, the money went back in the bank. And the money that I didn't use, I go, let's find out what we can buy from these other sellers. And I did really well. Today I'm going to show you the first part. I'm going to show you what I did for 1950 Bowman. I think I went in, like I said, I've already filmed showing the cards. I think I needed 20 cards, and you're going to see how many cards I'm down to at the end. But I did really well doing things online in working on my 1950 Bowmans. 1961 Topps, I was able to strike a deal on several cards. In fact, I've struck a deal on 3 cards which haven't arrived yet. I actually haven't even paid for them. That'll probably be my next video after today. So today we're going to focus on 1950 Bowman, just because as a set builder, and I think a lot of you who build sets can, you could have this in common with me, or you could say, yeah, this is what happens, is you get to a point with the building sets where you're down to 20, 30, 50 cards, let's say, if you're building like a set from the 50s or the 60s. And all of a sudden, like a dam bursts, and all these cards just start dropping literally on your lap. And that's how I feel that's starting to happen, or that's happened with 1950. Like I said, I was down to the low 20s. I think I was down to 24 when I went to the Burbank show, and I bought a few cards from Mitch that got me down to, I think, 20. But since then, this set is literally about to finish. And you run into that when you're building sets, because all of a sudden you're like going, I want to knock this set out. And I saw the card prices at the show. Now I know how much I could get them. And to be perfectly honest with you, when I looked at them on eBay, they were far cheaper than what I saw at the show. So we're at a point where all of a sudden the dam is burst on 1950, and maybe I could finish this set in the next month or so. Let's see. We'll find out. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Let's take a look at some baseball cards, you guys. So when I last left you looking at 1950 Bowmans, I was down to 20 cards. That was after the Burbank show. went on a little bit of a rampage. As I saw the prices, what I saw at the show, excuse me, I could now compare them to what they were on eBay. So a lot of these are known players. There's some Hall of Famers, and there's a couple of guys I would call commons. So, all right, enough chit chat. First guy on the list is Ted Kluszewski. Ted Kluszewski of the Cincinnati Reds. Now, of the cards that I'm going to show you, this is where things are starting to get harder. Definitely at this point. These were the guys that were, these cards are a little bit more elusive. But I believe, and I don't do my research before I go on the air, I just start filming. I think this is the Kluszewski rookie card from 1950. So that is the 1950 Ted Kluszewski. These are going straight to the binder. That's why some of these, you're just going, God, he's just handling them raw. But these are going straight to the binder after this show. Next up, Vic Rashi, arguably the Yankees ace pitcher of that era. Could have been Allie Reynolds, could have been Eddie Lopat. Rashi was a very good pitcher in the late 40s and early 50s. I think these three guys, the big three of Rashi, Lopat, and Reynolds, were so good. They're not given enough credit, and not one of those guys is in the Hall of Fame, of which I still don't get, because I think this guy should be in the Hall of Fame as well. And that is Vic Rashi. Let's see, definitely, I think this guy would, I don't know this guy, so if I have a Phillies fan out there, Willie Jones. I'm going to call this a common card, Willie Jones. Now, one of the things is his card number 67. Card numbers 1 through 72 are, I would say they're probably single prints. You don't find them as easily as you do card numbers 73 through 252. So when you're dealing with the 1950 Bowman, anything 72 and below is harder to find. And when you do find it, it's a lot more expensive. And a lot of the cards that I need to finish this set are below card number 72. But here's Willie Jones. Next up, I would say this is a common card, but maybe there's a Cubs fan out there who's going to dispute me. And that is Hank Sauer. And there you see Wrigley Field in the background. That's a good looking, it's a good looking card. It's just a good looking card. Love the backgrounds on this thing. I wonder if these cards would have been nicer had they been larger in size. There's a side of me that thinks no, that they're nice because they are a small size. They put so much detail into these small cards. That's Hank Sauer. The next guy, I know him more as the manager of the Milwaukee Braves or Milwaukee Brewers. And that's Del Crandall. But Del Crandall had a really good career. I have his 1973 Topps card as the manager of the Brewers. I have a 61 All-Star card, and then I have this 50 Bowman card. I'm assuming I have others, but these are the ones that come to mind. This is Del Crandall. Now, the next card was definitely a hard one to get because this is card number 1. And that is Mel Parnell at number 1. Not an easy card to find, and especially not an easy card to find in good shape. And I'd seen it around. I'd seen it at some shows. And this one I think I got from Clean Sweep Auctions. Yeah, that was from Clean Sweep Auctions I picked this one up from. I need to do a video of where I buy my baseball cards because I don't buy all my cards on eBay. But there are some good sellers on eBay that have their own websites, their own stores that sell you the cards a little cheaper and with no sales tax. And if you pay enough, you also get free shipping, which is something eBay would never do. So there's Mel Parnell. All right, next, guys, I have to take these out of the top loaders as I show you these. This is Bobby Thompson. The shot heard round the world. And that's Bobby Thompson in 1950, 1 year before the big home run that would make him practically immortal in baseball world. People still talk about him. That's Bobby Thompson. The next card, this is the first card I own of this Hall of Famer. I am still looking for one card of his from, I think, Diamond Stars. Maybe Leaf if I want to, but for sure Diamond Stars. And that is Luke Appling. That is my very first Luke Appling card. And he is, if Mitchell, White Sox card collector, is watching, I need his voice just to step in here. I know that his number was retired by the White Sox, and he's a legendary player. I think for me, he's the first guy I ever heard that they retired his number. You know, the White Sox have some others, but I think Appling might be one of the older players. But this is his first. This is like I said, first card. And I'll be honest, other than the big, the Ted Williams and the Barras, some of those graded cards I bought, this was the most expensive card and one of the harder cards to find. I honestly thought this card might be the last card I would find because it's hard to find, and when you do find it, it's not cheap. And I'm glad I found it because it was getting to become a pain in the butt, thinking I wasn't going to find it or was going to have to overpay. But there's Luke Appling, and then this one, a Yankee. I call him a legend, just because I do respect the Yankees. Tommy Henrich. Tommy Henrich of the famous outfield with Joe DiMaggio, Charlie Keller. Some great teams, great players. I admire the Yankees that I admire the most, the Yankee teams, to be honest with you. And I've mentioned this before, as I need to find a book. I like the Yankees when Gehrig was getting really old and Joe DiMaggio was very young. They had a killer team. I think they won 4 World Series titles in a row. And Tommy Henrich was one of the main guys on that team. Tommy Henrich. Another Yankee. Let's see. Let me take him out of his top loader. And that's going to be Johnny Mize. Johnny Mize. He's famous more, I think, as a Cardinal, but he also played on the Giants, played on the Yankees, had a stellar career, had a lot of home runs on the Cardinals in his day. And I think this is my third Johnny Mize. I have a 53 of his. Then I have a 1949 Bowman on the Giants, and now I have this one on the Yankees. I do not have one of him on the Cardinals. I might have to do that someday. Not easy to find, I don't think. All right, 2 more. Second to last one is going to be Early Win. Early Win. 300-game winner, Hall of Famer. That I could tell you very easily. And just a great pitcher. Great player to have in my collection. Got to pick up some good cards in the past couple of weeks from these various sellers. And then the last card I'm going to show you, I'm gonna do this all at once. So here's my top loader, and this is Bobby Doerr. Again, I thought this card, and a couple of other cards, including Luke Appling, I thought were going to be the last cards I needed, just because not easy to find, and when you do find them, they're not cheap. The sad thing was when I bought this card, a few days later, I found one half the price, but this one also comes with, let's take this out. This one also comes with an autograph of Bobby Doerr. And if you flip it over, I'm assuming that's Bobby Doerr's writing, sending a postcard to Mr. Ronald LaRogue, 1 Goddard Court, Plymouth, Massachusetts. I need to Google map this to see if this place still exists. But this was part of the deal. And I'll be honest with you guys, I bought this purely for the baseball card. And I paid very little for the card and the autograph. So here's where I'm asking your help, you guys. I don't know what to do with this autograph. Is this something? I don't collect autographs. So do I submit this? do I just keep this in a top loader? Or, you know, when I say submit for some type of JSA rating or whatever, or put it in a slab. Don't know what to do, but Bobby Doerr is one of the greats, and it's a nice autograph to have. And I looked up some other autographs, and this to see if this was real. This autograph matches the ones that I'm seeing online. So that is my Bobby Doerr Bowman card, along with this autograph postcard that he sent to somebody in Plymouth, Massachusetts. All right, let's take a look at some more. All right, so my last two cards arrived after I showed you this stack of several 1950 Bowman cards. And these last two cards I just received from the Batter's Box, which is, I know I mentioned them a lot on my show out of Tumble, Texas. They are really helping me a lot with this set. They keep popping up with great cards, and I keep finding them at a good price. So the last two cards I'm going to show you are honestly, I know I said this earlier with the Bobby Doerr, and I believe with the, one of the other cards that I thought it could be the last cards of the set. The next two cards I'm going to show you are definitely candidates for being the last two cards of the set. It's not going to be that way, but the first one I'm going to show you is Dominic DiMaggio, and that is card number 3. Not an easy card to get, in really nice condition, and I was able to get this one, like I said, from the Batter's Box. So that's card number 3. The other card that I thought had potential for being the last card in this set is going to be the Joe Gordon card number 129. So that is my second Joe Gordon card. The other one being the 1948-49 Leaf. So those are my two Joe Gordon cards as a player, because I think I might have a manager card of his in the 70s. I could be wrong there, not sure. So anyway, with these two cards, including the cards I showed earlier, I am now down to 6 cards to finish the 1950 set. Let's see if I can remember these off the top of my head. Ned Garver, I believe his name is, card number 16. George Kell, card number 8. Eddie Wakus, number 30. Card number 35, Enos Slaughter. Card number 71, Red Shandinks. Card number 94, Lou Boudreau. I do have my eyes on a Lou Boudreau on eBay, and my LCS actually does have the Enos Slaughter. I'm going to take a drive over there next weekend and see what it looks like and see if we can make a deal. So those are the last 6 cards I need to finish the 1950 Bowman set. All right, you guys, if you stuck around this long, thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.
It's a beautiful day for a ball game.